Afternoon, dear students. So in the last lectures we discussed about production of beer in detail. What are the various steps involved in beer production? That is malting, mashing, generation of wort, boiling of wort with hops, then fermentation of beer by adding the yeast Saccharomyces carlsbergensis, that is bottom yeast, then finishing the aging the beer and finishing the beer. Okay, so now we'll discuss today about the microbiology of beer production. Now whatever procedures that are adopted during brewing process have a great influence on the ability of microorganism to survive. That means whether any kind of microorganism will survive in the finished product, that is beer, or not. That depends upon what are the different processes you are carrying out and how aseptically you are carrying out each and every step. Now very little is known about the growth of microorganism that takes place during malting or mashing. That means microorganisms usually do not grow during the process of malting as well as mashing. Okay. Then in the third step, that is when we boil the wort with the hops for a period of 2.5 hours, sufficient heat is provided so that most of the resistant bacteria, when you are boiling for 2.5 hours, in that time most of the resistant bacteria, that is spore forming bacteria, which includes bacillus and clostridia, are destroyed. Okay, because you are boiling for a long period, that is 2.5 hours. So even the resistant bacteria, that is sporulating bacteria, bacillus and clostridia, are killed. Right. Now the combined action of heating as well as the antiseptic compounds, the antimicrobial compounds present in the hop flowers, destroy the remaining bacteria and inhibit any surviving microbe. That means in the third step, where we boil the wort with hops, all resistant bacteria, all unwanted bacteria are killed. And then we inoculate the wort with the yeast culture. Right. Now here the yeast that you are using for inoculation, okay, should be a pure culture free from any contaminating microorganisms. Right. Right. So the yeast which is collected from the previous batch should be carefully washed. It should be free from any type of contaminant. It should be a pure culture of Saccharomyces carlsbergensis. Now, one more thing. The wort that is inoculated with the yeast has a very low pH, that is 3.7 to 4.5. Okay, and hence it is unfavorable for the growth of most of the organism. In addition to that, the antimicrobial substances or hop antiseptics generally inhibit the growth of bacteria. Right. Then one more thing, the fermentation is a very slow process and it is an anaerobic process. So because it is an anaerobic process, again microorganisms do not grow. Similarly, when fermentation is proceeding, alcohol is produced by microorganism and the alcohol produced also inhibits the growth of most of the microorganisms. So as far as microbiology of beer production is concerned, at every step, we take care that microorganisms, unwanted microorganism, undesirable microorganism do not grow in the beer. Okay. Still, there are certain defects and diseases. Okay. So let us discuss about beer defects and diseases. Beer defects of non-microbiological origin. Okay, where microorganisms are not involved. Number 1, turbidity. Turbidity may be produced in the beer due to unstable proteins present in it, protein tannin complexes, starch and resins. And that is why in the last lecture we discussed that during the chill proofing of beer, if any unstable protein is present, that is to be destroyed. Okay. So because any protein, unstable protein or protein tannin complex present in the beer finished product may produce turbidity in the product, and that is not desirable, and hence we have to destroy the proteins. Then off flavors. Off flavor may be caused because of poor quality of ingredients or contact of poor quality ingredients with metal. So we have to use good quality ingredients during the production. Then poor physical characteristics. They may be caused because of oxidative changes, improper storage, that means you are not following a cold storage condition. Then oxidative changes may take place in the beer during storage, or sunlight. All these form poor physical characteristics in the finished product. So we have to take care that oxidative changes do not take place, and that is why antioxidants like SO2 are added or sulfides are added, and the product is properly stored. Right. Now there are certain beer diseases or infections which are of microbiological origin. Okay. What are those? When the mash is present in the brew house, it may undergo butyric acid fermentation by Clostridium species or lactic acid fermentation by Lactobacilli, which imparts off flavor. Off flavor means bad odor to the beer so produced, right? So when it is present in the brewing house, microbes like Clostridium or Lactobacilli can bring about butyric acid or lactic acid fermentation and give a bad odor to the product. Sometimes the inoculating yeast, the pitching yeast that you recover from the previous fermentation batch may be contaminated with bacteria or wild yeast, and it may be a potential source of spoilage organism. Such yeast and bacteria produce turbidity when they grow in the beer. Such beer yeast may be responsible for cloudiness in beer, and hence care is to be taken that the yeast that you use for inoculation should be a pure culture. It is free from any type of contaminant. It should be free from wild type of yeast, because they cause cloudiness or turbidity in the beer, which is undesirable. Right. The yeast may also be responsible for off taste and odor. For example, there are certain wild yeast like Saccharomyces pastorianus, okay, which produces bitterness in beer, right? So there are certain wild yeast which are responsible for off taste and odor in beer, bitterness in beer, and that is why such microbes should be taken care of. They are undesirable, and hence we have to use only pure culture of yeast. Wild yeast are also able to use the dextrins that are present in the beer, and they are potential spoilage organisms. Okay, so what are the different spoilage organisms, right, which causes defect in beer or diseases in beer? They are Clostridia, Lactobacilli. Clostridia and Lactobacilli are generally killed during the boiling of wort with hops. Then we have to take care that the yeast culture we use should be pure. It should not contain any bacteria or wild yeast, and then the spoilage can be prevented. Okay. So that is all about microbiology of beer and various diseases of beer. Okay. Now let us discuss about different types of beers. There are different types of beers depending on whether we use top fermenting yeast or bottom fermenting yeast, what are the grains that are used, whether you are using American barley, whether you are adding malt adjuncts or not, whether you are using grains other than barley. There are different types of beers on different, you can say, criteria. So let us discuss the types of beers. Number one, lager beer. The production which we studied now, that is lager beer production. Lager beer productions generally use bottom fermenting. They are bottom fermented beers because they use bottom fermenting yeast. Right. So bottom fermented beers are generally called as lager beers. This is the most commonly produced beer, which is aged in cold condition. Aging is done in cold condition, say 3 to 5 degrees Celsius, and they use bottom fermenting yeast. Ale. Number two type of beer is ale. It is the beer. Ale is a type of beer where we use top fermenting yeast. So most top fermented beers are called as ale. They employ the use of top fermenting yeast, and they contain high level of hops. Too much of hops are added. The alcohol content in ale is very high, say as high as 8% by weight. Ales are made in several varieties depending upon the color and body. Okay, it may be pale ale, so the color is very pale, mild ale, brown ale, etc. Right? So what is ale? A more top fermented beer which is fermented by using top fermenting yeast, and they contain high percentage of alcohol and high level of hops are added during its production. Third type of beer is bock beer. Okay, bock beer is a seasonal beer. Actually, it is only brewed or produced during the time of Easter. Okay, so it is brewed in winter for sale at Easter time. Then bock beer is produced by caramelized or roasted malt. Okay, so caramelized or roasted malt is used in its production, which provide the beer a very dark color, because you are caramelizing and roasting the malt grains. That is why the color of the beer is very dark, and it is sweet to taste, and it has a heavy body. Okay, so it's not light beer, it's a very hard and dark colored beer. The next one is Pilsner beer. It's again a very pale colored beer, light body, crispy bitterness, containing approximately 3.4 to 3.8% alcohol. It is fully attenuated. That means completely fermented. So sugar concentration is very, very low. So Pilsner beer is the one which is a very pale, light beer containing less of alcohol, that is 3.4 to 3.8%, and fully attenuated, completely fermented as possible. Okay. And the amount of hop added is very high. The next category is porter beer and stout beer. Stout and porter beer actually employ heavy wort. They do not, during the production of porter or stout beer, malt adjuncts are not added. What are malt adjuncts? I told you in the last lecture. They are actually cereal grain, cereal starches, okay, like rice starch or corn starch, which is added during mashing to, you can say, make the dark color of the beer lighter. Because American grown barley contain high concentration of protein, that is why the color of the beer is very dark. So to make it light, we add malt adjuncts. But porter and stout beers are those which employ heavy wort. They do not contain malt adjuncts, and hence the product is dark colored and heavy bodied, containing high alcohol content. Okay, so both porter and stout employ heavy wort without any malt adjuncts. That is why the color is very dark, body of the beer is very heavy, alcohol content is also very high, and here we use top fermenting yeast. Okay, so it's not a bottom fermented beer, top fermented beer. Then the next type is Weiss beer. Again, Weiss beer is a type of top fermented beer. It is especially brewed in Germany, particularly in Berlin area. It is prepared from malted wheat rather than barley. Okay, so in the production of Weiss beer, which is especially produced in Germany, in Berlin area, it is prepared by using malted wheat and not barley. Light bodied, light colored beer, and it is sold along with yeast in the bottle. Okay, so yeast is not killed by pasteurization, or even yeast is not removed from the finished product. They are left in the bottle and they are sold along with the yeast. The next one, that is Lambic beer, again a top fermented beer, and it's very peculiar in Brussels area. Okay, so it's very peculiarly brewed in Brussels area. The mash is prepared from 40%. So here we are using two type of grains, that is barley as well as wheat. So 40% is raw wheat and 60% is malted barley. Okay, barley is malted, wheat is not. So 40% of raw wheat and 60% malted barley are used for preparing lambic beer. Fermentation is not seeded. Okay, that means you do not add any pure culture of yeast. It occurs spontaneously. And the flavor of this beer is derived from the microflora which is indigenous to Brussels area. The microorganisms which are indigenously found in Brussels area grow in the beer. And the organisms that are generally present during fermentation are Brettanomyces and other yeast, lactic acid bacteria as well as other bacteria. And the fermentation here takes place for several years. So it's a very long aged beer, you can say. The product is again very acidic, that is 3.2 to 3.5 is the pH, and very aromatic flavor is there in the beer. And lambic beer, because it's very hard and long aged, it is often blended with lager beer and then used. Okay, so what is lambic beer? It's a top fermented beer peculiar to Brussels area, and it is prepared by using 40% of raw wheat and 60% of malted barley. And spontaneous yeast or spontaneously growing microorganisms are allowed to carry out the fermentation, especially Brettanomyces, lactic acid bacteria. And the fermentation takes a very long time, maybe several years also. And the pH is very acidic, and it is often used by blending or mixing with lager beer. So that is all about types of beer and beer production.